It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
It's Inside the Patch. I'm Gnarley Charley along with Brian Noe. And wow, what a game. Normally when the Raiders lose, I'm upset about it. Want to yell at Josh McDaniels, and I'm here for consulting. You're like my psychologist. But Brian, welcome to the program.
Now? There's no Josh McDaniels. Who do you yell at?
Well, the problem is there's a lot of stories that are coming out that verify what I thought. And now I'm hearing from the players are feeling he's a few weeks out. They can say what they really think now. And for example, Mr. Hunter Renfrow made a couple great plays during the game. He was good.
Which game are you talking? The game they lost to the Dolphins? Is that the game you're talking about?
Okay, I guess we should clarify. Brian,
I just want to make sure it's not some other game. I just,
you're right.
Just wanted to make sure.
You're 100% right. Well, okay, let's just lay this out there. You and I had a bet. We had a bet on the game, and 0 points. 0 points given. Vegas was laying down 14, and not once did you probably would have took the 14 out. You would have given that, probably. But we didn't do that. We went straight up.
You bring up a good point, because we never discussed the point spread at all, which would have been a much fairer way to do it, but
mano y mano. Okay, but okay, right off the bat, you're a Dolphin fan, but you're also a professional sportscast guy, right? So I know that you really have Dan Marino in your heart, but that's really not a part of your thing. You root for him, you like him, but you're more of like, look, I got my sports takes, and here they are. Now, you've been coaching me through this. You're the only one that brings legitimacy to the show. I'm more about what they're serving hot dogs at the stadium. What's going on? But that being said, we made a bet, and what was the bet exactly? Do you remember?
I don't know if you had to sacrifice your firstborn.
No, we got rid of that. We thought it was too much.
We omitted that part of it. No, it was something about you have to change your profile picture on social media. Yeah.
Yes.
To something Dolphin related.
The funny part was if Brian would have lost, then he had to wait a month because he's already paying off a bet right now on his social media, right?
Well, it's on my phone. It's the wallpaper of my phone. So the Dolphins lost to the Chiefs in Germany. So it's literally, I could show you right now. Look at my background. It's all background.
All Chiefs.
I have to have that until the end of the month because the Chiefs won that game.
Well, if you go to my Instagram, there is a picture of a Dolphin, number 5, catching the ball, which Brian sent me, and it is now my profile picture for the next month. I suppose that's what it is.
Well, it's Jalen Ramsey.
Yes,
it's a game-winning interception.
Yes, I know. I don't want to say his name. Yes, no. I know that. Okay.
Oh, and you got a poem. You have to write a very,
I wrote a poem.
Optimistic, pom-pom waving, very pro-Dolphin poem.
I don't know if we said that, but maybe that's.
We did. We did.
Let me just tell you, there is a poem loaded, ready to go. That's coming up. So all you people that are tuned in for the poem, you got to wait a second.
It almost sounds like this is not going to be incredibly complimentary of the Dolphins.
No, a bet's a bet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I thought we needed to be done.
Okay.
But here's the craziest thing: the Raiders lost to the Dolphins. But I watched a bunch of gambling prediction shows and stuff, and every talking head said lay the 14 points. It's going to be 40-0, and to the point where I try to be optimistic. I was like going, oh man, and I said out loud, I want it to be close, which really you don't want that. You want them to win, but I was like, because I feel like things are changing for the Raiders. I think there's a new culture there, and my opinion is I thought we left there and we ran out of time. We were in the game, and I kept saying, if they let us hang around like this is going to be bad, And I was scared.
The first part I totally agree with. You're right. The talking heads, it was lay the 14, go with the Dolphins. They're going to steamroll them. The Raiders haven't beaten anybody good while Antonio Pierce has taken over the squad, that sort of thing.
Right.
And you're right. Hey, I thought that the Raiders defense, I'm just pulling up the box score. I thought the Raiders defense did enough. You know, they didn't pitch a shutout, but it's the Dolphins. No one's going to pitch a shutout against them. I thought the Raiders defense did enough to put them in position to win the game. It's just too many turnovers, too many young mistakes by Aiden O'Connell, and the offense just didn't get it done. But I thought the defense held up its end of the bargain.
Well, that's what I left. I left thinking, well, if we play like that, that's not a huge amount of points. It should have been closer. Our offense is the problem now. It's the complete opposite of what we thought it was going to be. We thought we were going to have this killer offense, and our offense. And I think it's a line issue. And there's a lot of things, but Jalen Ramsey, it happened the week before too. These veteran corners, and they know that Aiden O'Connell is a rookie, and it's like they're just toying with the kid. They sit back. They know that they can tell. They probably watch film, and they know what he does on a quick hitch or a 10-yard hook, and they act like they're going to play back, and then they're just wanting to jump on it. And it's veteran stuff. You could tell. It's like, oh, you'll learn to not do that.
Well, I go back to when you hold the Dolphins to 20 points in Miami. That's pretty good. And the weird part is, the Dolphins moved the ball. They gained over 400 yards of total offense. But the Raiders did a good job forcing turnovers. Tua threw an interception. The Raiders also forced and recovered 2 fumbles. So you get 3 takeaways. Now you're cooking with grease. The problem was Aiden O'Connell with the 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's a tough way to lose when, man, your defense really did enough. And the Raiders, at the end of the day, they scored 13 points. But that's been a theme with them. They cannot break that 20-point threshold. It's just not in them this season to do that.
Well, and there's a lot of things. Like we said, Aiden O'Connell is a rookie. He's making rookie mistakes. And I don't know if he's the answer to everything. I know that I do like that he stays in there. I do think, and he will throw it like all our other quarterbacks. They're sacked. They're going down. They're not staying up there and trying to throw it. But he's young, He's willing to take that hit. He missed Devontae a couple times. He missed a couple long shots. It is what it is. But I actually left feeling like, okay, we can kind of play with if we can hold the Dolphins to that, the number one offense with our defense, well, then we can pretty much play with anyone. If the real test is coming up, though. We're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who didn't look all that great. So many drop passes. I hope they continue that dropping. Because,
man, by the way, this is not Chiefs red.
I was going to say, it's Christmas red? Or what is the deal with the red?
You know what this is? This is a funny story. This is basically John Gruden red.
What? How's that?
This is it's a Gruden thing. It's Spider 2Y banana.
Oh, that's a play. It's a play
on the shirt right there. That's all it is. And so obviously it's a John Gruden thing. He made it famous on the
quarterback show.
The quarterback interviews, and he would always watch tape and be like, Spider 2Y banana. So I saw that shirt randomly. I'm like, I have to have this. So not Chiefs red. Just want to let you know.
I love that. Well, I mean, so here we are now. And chances are, well, I don't even know what chances are. I'm just saying one of the things I learned about Antonio Pierce this week, his office, he's not in the head coach office. He kept his office where it was. He said, I'm only moving once. I'm not going to move in there and move back. And I thought that was a pretty telling scenario to where if you want to give me the job, I'll go in there. You know, it almost sounds like if he didn't get the job, he would stay, which I don't know. You know, that's.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot to be worked out if that's the situation. I think about Denver. Remember Vance Joseph was the head coach, and then he got fired. He went elsewhere. He was with the Arizona Cardinals. Now he's back with Denver as the defensive coordinator. That doesn't happen a whole heck of a lot.
Right.
But I would think it would. And listen, I don't know what Antonio would do, but if he's not offered the head coaching job, it seems like a little bit like Ed Orgeron at USC. Ed O wanted the job. He was the interim head coach. They had some success. They didn't offer it to him, and he was out of there. And that might be the situation. I don't know. But we'll find out if he isn't offered the gig.
Our defensive line coach is Rob Ryan, who was our defensive coordinator years ago. And he moved on to somewhere else. But he's back now. And if we didn't have that Versace deal a couple years ago, I would say probably going to get someone new. But Rich, I mean, and I was ignorant to the fact when the players were like, he should be the coach. I was like, I don't know, man. Does this guy special teams coach? But the way the players reacted to him, I'm like, huh. And it does say something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, hey, he's got a shot. Antonio Pierce has done a nice job so far. They just have to stack wins. You got to win games for him to have a real chance to be named the permanent head coach. And if he's not, I find that interesting. I think that, listen, if he's not the head coach and somebody else is, that guy is going to want to bring in his own staff.
That's what I'm saying.
Who knows if the new head coach has a relationship or some familiarity with Antonio Pierce, maybe something would work out. But chances are that isn't the case. Probably doesn't have a close relationship with Pierce. So my guess is if he's not named permanent head coach, he's going to be employed somewhere else. But look, man, he's doing a really nice job so far.
Right. Well, and then, you know, every year you lose half your team or more, or maybe not that much, but there's a change. There's always a change. But I will say this, if we beat the Chiefs this Sunday, I think there's a chance that could be the only thing he does all year. I think he won't be named then, but I think he will become the head coach. I think it's based on that.
Well, you know, look, if you're able to beat the Chiefs, that's a big deal. There's no doubt about that. And you're right, against Philly, not a work of art in the second half, got shut out. Kelsey with the fumble in the red zone, receivers dropping passes left and right. But I think from a Raiders standpoint, you could look at that and be like, hey, they're kind of ripe for the picking. Or you could look at it and say, they're going to be quite focused. Probably angry.
That's kind of what I was. Okay, so did you see the end of the game? So they're 4th and 25. 4th and 25. Mahomes almost gets sacked, and then he throws a laser 27 yards in the air.
Yeah.
And the dude missed it. I mean, you're in pro football. You're getting paid a lot of money. Catch that ball. Yeah. Catch that ball. And if he would have, it just shows you Mahomes is never out. And
it's crazy, right?
20, I mean, and I just think to myself, oh gosh, that's as a Raider fan, that's just, I don't care if it's 4th and 40, they got a shot every time. And
you know what's crazy is you think about the first game of the year against the Lions, very similar situation. It was about 4th and 20, 4th and 25. It was something like that. And they went for it. They didn't have to. Like against the Eagles, they had to.
Yeah.
But in the situation against Detroit, they didn't have to. They could have punted it, and they still went for it. And they should have gotten it. Mahomes, again, came up with a beautiful throw. Didn't get caught. Didn't work out. But you're right. Justin Watson, I know it's raining. I know the ball's a little wet. Your gloves are a little wet. Bro, you're an NFL receiver. You've got to make that play. Have to. MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, even more so. The deep ball, it's right in his hands. Dude, make a catch. It hits both hands. Like, you got to make that
That's
play.
a game. Both those. And then what do you say? What do you say to Mahomes? He just did everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I love what Mahomes said after the game. He didn't say anything about MVS. He was like, yeah, I threw the ball a little bit too far. Could have been a little bit shorter of a pass, a little easier of a catch. So that's pretty awesome to say. Well, a lot of quarterbacks would be like, yeah, we just got to catch the ball in that spot. And that would be right, but Mahomes looked at himself before MVS. I thought that was a cool gesture.
I think Mahomes is pretty safe. I don't think an Aaron throw is going to get him kicked out, but he also, in the future, people, they can't afford to have the best talent around them. They've got great players. They do. But I'm saying Mahomes, to take his money and to take his team, he has to be a cool guy. And people will want to play for him,
Well, that's the funny thing to me is the Chiefs just don't have anything close to a number one wide receiver. They just don't. They've got a bunch of number 2 and number 3 receivers. Travis Kelce is an outstanding tight end. They don't have a number 1 wide receiver, not even close.
Right.
And you look at the Raiders don't have a roster top to bottom as good as the Chiefs. But the Chiefs would kill for a talent like Devontae Adams right now.
Yeah.
It's just every team in the NFL has talent. They might not be as talented top to bottom as other squads, but every team has talent. Where the Chiefs, think about how loaded they are. They would kill to have a receiver like Devontae Adams right now.
Yeah. Well, and Mahomes, he's sneaky fast. He doesn't like to run, but he can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a playmaker, man. He's an awesome quarterback. That's the sucky thing. I hate to go down this road, Gnarly, but that's the sucky thing about winning enough games like the Raiders have.
Right.
Where you're not in that range to get the top prospects.
Right, right.
Not get the Caleb Williams or the Drake May who could be really, really special in the NFL. When you've already won 5 games, you're not in that area.
But that's a crapshoot anyway. I mean, Max Crosby, we got him in the 4th round. Max Crosby. It's a crapshoot. You just don't know, man. It's like the lotto. You buy those nice tickets, but they don't all win. Obviously,
That's true. Someone put this really well, though. I think if you think about a top draft pick, it's like putting in golf, right?
Okay.
Like, I'd rather be closer to the hole.
Yeah, okay.
When I'm putting, right?
Right.
If your number 1 overall pick is a 5-foot putt, you're not always going to make that. But your chances are better than a 15-foot putt, You
want to tap in ultimately, but right. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. And
it makes sense. I hear you because, look, sometimes you miss the 5-foot putt, and sometimes you drain the 15-foot putt. Look at Mahomes. Mahomes was a 10th overall pick. So you don't have to have the number 1 or the number 2 overall pick to get a special quarterback. But your chances are better if you are there.
Now, okay, I'm not for sure how this works. The trade deadline's over, but can the Raiders pick up a free agent quarterback? Like if we wanted to go get an old vet that's sitting on the couch right now, could we do that? Or how's that work?
Yeah, they could. Like the Rams just signed Carson Wentz.
Right.
Not that long ago. So, yeah.
And I'm not saying that's even the right move, but it's just like O'Connell, I think, gives us the best chance to win, but it's just.
I mean,
but he doesn't.
You could sign Joe Flacco right now if you wanted to, but it's not going to make much difference.
No. Well, and I think I've heard pros talk about that. Just if Flacco's been sitting on the couch, there's that acclimation time. It doesn't work that way. You just can't walk in and boom.
No.
Baker Mayfield, who we hadn't practiced with the team and beat the Raiders last year. That was one. But that was a fluke.
Or Josh
for
Dobbs
him
this year.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs did it this year for the Vikings.
What about him? He is just he's awesome.
He's played well, man. Like, look, it was a great story when he got picked up on a Tuesday, didn't know the plays, didn't know everybody's name, and goes out there and beat the Falcons. That's awesome. That's a fun story, but that's rare. You normally don't see that.
Well, one of the tough things about football too is like, okay, the Raiders. There's a linebacker from the Colts that got released, but he's $6 million a year, right? Well, maybe the Raiders should get him, but then maybe we shouldn't. You know, I know we have to think about next year, but you also got to think about this year. And there's that. That's the hard part about this. It's like plate spinning. Oh, I need this, but you need that. You know, and where are we at?
That's what I love about you, man. Like, it doesn't matter what their record is. It doesn't matter what the roster looks like. There is just a never say die attitude. It's like you just cannot be discouraged to the point where it's like you need someone to pick you up, you know? You're your own pick me up. You have a pick me up mindset.
What I like, yes, and I don't have an open mind to the reality of it too. I feel like, but I don't know. It's like I feel like if somehow we beat the Chiefs, it's gonna I don't know, if the end game for me is just to make the playoffs, right? Just to make it. We're not good enough to beat these great teams, but I don't know. I'm not good enough to have my own Raiders show, but here I am. I don't. That's my head goes. You know.
Listen, I don't hate your attitude at all because you're not crazy fan that said if we sneak into the playoffs, look the hell out, major damage. Like
it's our home field.
Yeah. But you're saying if we could just string some wins together and sneak on in there. You're not calling your shot. You're just hoping that's what happens. I have zero problem with that.
Well, we still have to play the Broncos again, the Chargers again, and the Chiefs twice. Okay? Hey, I have no expectation of winning the division. I don't think that's possible.
I'd put it this way. I think with the Raiders roster, you could make the argument that they are either overachieving or they're achieving right where they should be, right?
I agree with that.
They're about where they should be. If you look at the Chargers roster, there is no doubt they're underachieving. I would rather be a fan of a team that's either overachieving or giving you reasonably where they should be instead of the Chargers who are, that roster talent-wise, they're easily an over 500 team. And they're 4-6 right now, man. And the way they lose, too. I don't know how Chargers fans do it, man. I really don't.
Well, there are a few of them. All right. So I do want to say congratulations to the Dolphins. I felt like they deserve it. But I do feel like, man, they didn't get us like they thought they would, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. You held them to 20 points. That's really good.
I was expecting the Finns. I was expecting at any time, here comes the track meet. I was just expecting that. It never happened.
And Tyreek Hill went crazy. He had 146 yards receiving. They moved the ball. Like I said, they had almost 425 total yards. That's a lot. They had 20 points.
He's a cheat code in Madden. It's like when he catches that ball and all of a sudden he hits another speed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was that?
I know.
Hop, skip, jump thing.
That's the thing, too, is he's fast and he's quick.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys.
That's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference there.
They're just fast, like straight ahead, sprinter speed, fast. But he cuts. He's quick. He can change direction and speed up, and he's crazy, man.
Yeah. The Chiefs could really use him.
Yeah, absolutely, they could.
All right, so I promised you a poem. All right?
Yeah. Now, wait. This is supposed to be highly complimentary of the Dolphins who won the game.
Well, there's a little abstractness to it because I kind of went with the ocean theme, okay? So just here we go.
All right.
This is the I Lost the Bet poem. In the land where the Dolphins leap and play, Gnarley and Brian had so much to say. A bet they made 'neath the ocean sheen, where dolphins swam and the water's green. The dolphins splashed with tricks up their fins, a sneaky move that surely wins. But Gnarley grinned, not one to frown, for Raiders' spirit can't be kept down. In the waves of banter, they sailed along with our ESPN mics and the lightning song. The Dolphins may boast in the ocean din, but in Gnarley's heart, the Raiders win. So, yes, they did great. But to me, you didn't break me. You won the game and you played well and you're great. But it didn't break.
You know what? I think you're onto something. I think I'm going to bet like you from now on. So, for instance, this was supposed to be a highly complimentary pro-Dolphins poem, and somehow it turned into, I feel like the Raiders won the game. So I'm taking a lesson from you. I'm paying my debts the way you do from now on. If I bet $100 on a game and I lose, I'm going to pay $10 and say, that's what I remembered the bet being, though.
See? And that's the Gnarly spirit. See, that's beautiful, Brian. All right, Brian, we got to go. Quick score for the Chiefs game. What do you think? Raiders, Chiefs, what's happening?
You know what? I'm going to go Chiefs 38, Raiders 13.
I'm not going to make a bet, and I'm just going to say I think it's going to be a blackout. I think the Raiders are going to win straight up. I hate that our best player is our punter.
AJ Cole is amazing. He is an amazing punter.
Do you see him, though? He's so excited he's running, but everybody's mad we just 3 it out. You know, everybody's like, oh, yeah, great. Good job, man. Thanks, dude. Thanks. But it's punter's life.
Well, hey, man, hopefully the offense will be better, and you don't get a whole lot of AJ Cole against the Chiefs. You know?
Okay, though, if the Raiders beat the Chiefs, the next show, we're doing a musical, okay? We're singing our takes.
Let me in.
All right. Brian, no, thank you so much. It's Inside the Patch, and the Dolphins did win. Congratulations. I don't know what the purpose of that was, but dumb. Just dumb. All right. Thanks, Brian. We'll see you next time right here for Inside the Patch.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.